Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Diana and today I'm here with a little story time. I'm just gonna get right into it because nobody likes a long intro, am I right? So let's go. This story takes place way back in like 7th grade. I was 12, 13 years old and I had two boys in my class. Let's just call them Blonde and Brown. Blonde and Brown were really good friends. They would always sit next to each other. I remember, especially in German class, they would always sit next to each other until this one thing happened that made them not be as close anymore. So I'm just gonna tell you guys what happened and all that. So one day, Brown decides to go up to the German teacher, who was also at the same time our supervisor, our class supervisor. Whenever someone had a question regarding anything that has to do with school, you could go up to her and like ask her questions, whatever. She would help you, guide you, all that. So she was the class supervisor, and one day Brown goes up to her and he's like, yeah, I don't want to sit next to Blonde anymore because I feel uncomfortable. He keeps touching me with his hand, like on my leg and on my knee, and like he keeps looking at me a certain way. I feel like he's in love with me and I just feel uncomfortable sitting next to him. I just don't want to sit next to him anymore. I think he's in love with me, and I have told him a lot of times that he needs to stop doing that, but he keeps on doing it, whatever. He did tell her this privately, but the whole class came to find out because he told other people about it too, and other people told other people. So eventually the whole class knew. Okay, the whole class knew what was going on with Blonde and Brown, why they weren't sitting next to each other anymore, because the supervisor told them that they were better off not sitting next to each other anymore. So they didn't sit next to each other anymore, and she thought with them not sitting next to each other anymore, the problem is solved, right? And I mean, it was solved for a few months until it happened again. Let me just tell you, like, in this little period of them not sitting next to each other anymore, they kind of started forgetting, like everybody kind of started forgetting what was, going on, like what happened. They weren't as close as they were before, but they kind of became friends again until it happened again. Yes, it happened again. And the same thing, Brown goes up to the German teacher. He's touching my arm, like he looks at me a certain way. I really feel like he's in love with me. I just feel uncomfortable. I don't want to sit next to each other anymore, because they went back to sitting next to each other because they thought, it was over, like it wasn't going to happen anymore. And so everybody in my class, they were like, what the hell? Blonde, what the hell is going on? Like, why do you keep, harassing him? Like, leave him alone. Why do you keep touching him? And Blonde was crying because he was like, no, it's not true. It's not true. Like, I'm not in love with him. I don't know why he keeps saying that. Like, we're just really good friends. I don't see anything in him. I'm not in love with him. It's not like that. Like, it's not true what he's saying. He was like really upset. But nobody, like, of course, everybody was choosing Brown's side, because why would he lie about that? Like, everybody was believing him. If someone would come up and say something like that, of course you would believe them. Like, why would they make that up, right? Oh my gosh. So she decides to call Blonde's parents to have a conversation, because they were like, how is it possible that it keeps on happening? Obviously there's a problem. And they basically asked him, is there anything going on? Is there anything that you want to tell us? And what I heard from other people in my class is that he started crying again and saying like, no, it's not true. It's not true. He was really upset this time. Like, he did not want to talk about it. Every time anyone would ask him about it, he would say like, leave me alone. Like, they were in a fight. They were not friends anymore. They weren't friends anymore because Brown felt harassed by Blonde, and his parents were like freaking called to school to have a conversation about his problem and why he can't like keep his hands off of Brown. So, oh my gosh. Okay, and I'm just gonna stop with that and like tell you guys a little bit about Brown. Okay, because in retrospect, I kind of connect the dots. So Brown was always a person, I would say he was homophobic. Like if you go off of the definition of a homophobe, that's what he was. Like I don't think he realized at the time, but he would always make certain comments that were homophobic, such as he would whenever he would see like a gay couple, he would be like, ew, like that's weird. Or like, or he would say stuff like, no, I'm not gay, or that's gay, or like, ew, that's gay. Like just, I can't remember specifically all of the things that he said, but those two things, always like, ew, that's weird, or like, ew, that's gay, like I'm not gay. Those things, he would always say that. And the definition, if you would look at the definition of a homophobe, that is what he was. I don't think he was like realizing the stuff that he was saying, but so yeah, let's just go back to their friendship. They weren't friends anymore, they weren't close anymore, they wouldn't sit next to each other anymore. It was done. It was a done deal, like over, like no, it was done. After that year, me and this other girl got placed into a higher level because our grades were good, and like we got to go like in a higher level. So we moved to another class. We never saw them again, or at least I never saw them again. I'm just gonna speak for myself. I never saw them again because I went to another level. Also, when I was 15, we moved to Belgium, so I never saw anyone ever again from that class. I don't know if they maybe later made up, or they, you know, resolved everything, they talked about it, whatever. I don't know. I just know what happened in that particular year. So fast forward 5-6 years later, at this point I'm like, what, 18? And this one night I'm just laying in my bed, you know, scrolling through Instagram like I always do, and I come across this picture, a group photo with, you know, a bunch of random people that I don't know, but this one person in the picture I do know. And I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, that's Brown, that's, I remember him, like I know him. And in that picture, like a few people were tagged in that picture, including him. And you know, if you tap the picture, the tag shows, and then you can go on their page, right? Like, you know, if you know how Instagram works, I don't have to explain that. So I tap on the photo and his Instagram handle appears, and I click on it because, you know, I want to go on his page and like see where he's at in life. You know, like I haven't seen him in like what, 5-6 years. I just want to see like what he looks like now, right? I go on his page. Guys, this is where the story gets freaking juicy. So I go on his page, right? And I am, at first glance, there's nothing to be seen. Like he is, you know, just the same as he was before. He looks the same as I remember him, just a little bit older. And I'm just scrolling through his feed. I'm not actually, at this point, I haven't clicked on any picture. I'm just scrolling through his feed, just looking at every picture, like in the miniature, is that how you say it? In the mini version, you know, in the feed. I'm just scrolling through his feed. I'm not seeing anything particular. And I suddenly see this picture with him and another guy who I assume is his friend at first. But like in the back of my mind, I'm already like, they kind of, why are they like standing next to each other like that? They kind of look like, you know, they might be more than just friends. So I click on the picture to make it like, you know, to look at it in full. You guys, oh my God. I find out that this boy, Brown, who we talked about, that was like uncomfortable with his friend touching him. He was uncomfortable with, you know, people that were gay. This boy has a whole boyfriend. Yes, it is his fucking boyfriend standing next to him. He has a whole boyfriend, as in they're together, as in like a couple, as in like in love, as in like dating. Like I can't even tell you guys how freaking shook I was. I was so shocked. I was like, what the fuck? Out of all people, Brown was the last person that I would expect was fucking gay. Like, oh, just to be clear, like, I don't have anything against being gay. Like, what, I could not care less about anyone's sexuality. Like, I don't care what you are, who you're in love with. Like, I don't care. But to go from, ew, that's gay, or ew, that's weird, to actually having a freaking boyfriend and actually being fucking gay yourself is so mind-blowing to me. Like, I remember I was like laying in my bed when I found out, right? And I remember just sitting straight up and I was like, what the fuck? This is like, I was so shocked, you guys. I remember texting my best friend from Holland, like right away. I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. You don't know what I found out. I found out freaking, because, you know, she knew him too. Because later when I was already in Belgium, she was like in his class too. So yeah, she knew him too. And I was like, oh my gosh, you don't know what I found out. I found out he's gay. I found out Brown is gay. He's gay, he's gay. And she's like, yeah, I already knew that. And like, yeah, but you don't understand why it's so shocking. So I told her the whole story because she wasn't in my class back in the day. Like, we were never in each other's classes. So she didn't know about, you know, the whole backstory. She didn't know about that. So I told her and she was like, what the hell? I never knew that happened. I'm like, it did. And like, she was shocked too after I told her. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just can't believe, like, what the fuck? So weird. And yeah, so I was really shocked, you guys. And again, like, I don't know if at this point he was, you know, back friends again with Blonde. I don't know if they ever resolved it. I don't know if they ever became friends again. Maybe they talked about it. Maybe they, you know, made up. Maybe it's all good now. I'm just telling you guys what I experienced in that year and how that relates to what I found out 5-6 years later. So how, you know, what they are doing now or how they are or their relationship now, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm just telling you guys. And yeah, it's so crazy because, I mean, yeah, granted, when you're like 12, 13 years old, you haven't figured yourself out and like you're still, you know, getting to know yourself. But it's so freaking crazy. Like, you trying to tell me that this whole time you were saying, oh, I feel uncomfortable, I think he's in love with me. All this freaking time, it was actually you that were gay? All this fucking time that you were accusing someone else of having feelings for you, to the point where they had to call, you know, their parents to school to talk with them about their child, about like his behavior. This whole time it was you that were gay and not him. Like, that is so fucking crazy. Obviously he was the one that had feelings for Blonde. I mean, that's what I think. I think that he might have had feelings for Blonde and he kind of like didn't know how to handle it or like felt uncomfortable with it, so he decided to project his feelings onto Blonde. Like, I don't know. I just don't understand. I mean, it's kind of obvious. Well, now I know why he was, you know, uncomfortable with all that. Like, obviously he was gay himself. Maybe he just didn't realize yet, you know. But yeah, that was a crazy story. Oh my gosh, it's hot. It's like, I don't know. It's like 30 degrees Celsius. I'm not really sure how much Fahrenheit that is. If you want to know, Google it. Google is your best friend. But like, yeah, that's the story. That's the crazy thing that happened and that I'm telling you guys about. And again, disclaimer, I don't have anything against being gay. I don't care what your sexuality is. I am just telling this story because I was freaking shocked. I was shocked to find out that someone could go from being like homophobic without even realizing, or I don't know if you realized or not, but someone can go from homophobic to like actually being a gay himself. So like, I'm sweating, you guys. I'm sweating. It's warm and I'm here telling this story. But yeah, that was the story. Freaking crazy, at least to me and everyone. Every time I tell people, they're like, what the fuck? I'm like, yeah, that actually happened. So yeah, I'm just gonna end this video. I hope you enjoyed this story time. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, you know the deal, like, and all that. And I hope I'll see you guys next time. Bye.